Welcome to the School of the Gifted, where you are mystics among the masses. Today is my very first video for Intuitive Insights, and I welcome all of you who have cared to join me and to click on this video. I want to thank all of my subscribers who have followed me from my other channel, and those of you that have just found me on YouTube and were magnetized and resonated with the energy of this channel, welcome and thank you. I'm going to be talking about a pretty complex subject here. It's a subject matter that a lot of us have heard, but we really have turned a blind eye to the terms or the label of daddy issues. And I felt like it was appropriate to speak about, especially on the spiritual journey, because there are terms that we have been used to hearing as we were reaching from childhood to adulthood, that we became familiar with or comfortable with. And so I felt like I deemed it very necessary to talk about this. And where did this term get coined from anyway? All right, so let's get deep into this. The term was coined by the father of psychology. Now, there is a debate as to who really is the father of psychology. Either it's Carl Jung or Sigmund Freud, but this came from Freud. Okay, and he described a person who has unconscious impulses and associations as a result of a poor relationship with their father. Now, from that theory came the Oedipus complex, the theory that children have a subconscious attraction to the opposite sex parent. Like, you may hear those issues around, oh, he's a mama's boy, or, she's a daddy's girl. Those things. So the Oedipus complex refers specifically to boys only, though. And you have Electra complex, which is used to describe the same theory as applied to girls and their fathers. So, one thing that I'm here to help you with is to shift your paradigm in a way that you think. Okay? My mission is really pretty based around helping you to spiritually evolve and to grow and to expand. For my birthday, which is not until Tuesday, you guys, my birthday is July the 7th, but the metaphysical store owner, I love her so much. Shout out to Janet at New Age People. She gave me this book, and it's very new. It's from the author name is Dorsey, Lilith Dorsey, and it's Orishas, Goddesses, and Voodoo Queens. Okay, I don't know if I can get the whole book here in this picture. I'm working with limited space here, but this is what the book looks like. What you can make of it, right? And I got a chance to kind of like, proofread. I don't know how I got all these spots on here, these water spots. Maybe because I turned it over. Maybe some of my oils for my ritual got on it that I did last night. Oh well. Anyway, I was mesmerized by the Faces of Water is what she's known for, but she's a deity. Her name is Mami Watas, and she is a Nigerian, deity. And in the book, I'm going to just read you a small excerpt, and then we'll get right into what I came to talk to you guys about. There may even be within this name many energies referred to Mama Watas or Papi Watas. They have many faces, multiple manifestations. The fluidity of the energy of Mama Wata allows for it to exist with many varying elements. One unusual way that this has happened is in the identification with some of the Hindu practices. In some cases, various Hindu images and offerings are used for her. I even remember one time where I was told to offer water from the river Ganges. It's almost as if water, being true to its nature, will seek its own level on either the physical or spiritual plane. Now, what we term as good and evil, all of this energy has been pretty much led from the book in the Bible, Genesis, where both negativity and sin was equated to the association that led people to think, just like the serpent in the Garden of Eden, as being something that's wrong, something that's taboo, something that is evil. So, my whole point of this is that the daddy issues could be looked at as a good thing, or it could be looked at as something that is bad. It just depends on your perspective. Perspective is everything. Perspective is very quintessential when it comes to opening yourself up. But anyway, she's a water mermaid, okay? She's in the water. Water is very healing. As a intuitive, you would understand that water is associated with emotions, and when using it in your spiritual practices, you can heal deep-seated wounds from the past. And I'll be speaking to you at the very end on how you can do that and what, medicinal recommendation I would recommend, and so forth and so on. If you're learning or want to know how to work with the Orishas or the energies of the Orishas, it's very deep, it's very powerful to be able to use these energies, but be responsible. I recommend getting the book that I showed you at the beginning. It's a wonderful book. Like I said, just picked it up yesterday as a gift for my birthday, an early birthday present, which is a wonderful gift indeed. And I'm very appreciative and thankful for it. All right, so one thing that we have to realize is that we have to let go of our limited beliefs about love. You guys, it's really time to heal those old wounds. And just for us as being women in general, especially divine feminines, all men are not the same. Just as the reverse is true for women, all women are not the same. And for those of you who are unaware of the term daddy issues is an informal phrase for the psychological changes resulting from the absence or the abnormal relationship with one's father, often manifesting in a distrust of or sexual desire for men who act as father figures. Most women find themselves with these issues looking for men to play the role of the absentee father or the father who was present but lacked the role. Okay? They're also probably more prone or likely to be drawn to partners that mirror their relationship dynamic. And most of the time they bring those suitors to them that are also emotionally unavailable. And they tend to stay in those type of relationships longer than what they should because of the inner child wounds that still need to be healed for the lack of their father's presence, whether he was present or whether he was semi-present, etc. So, I'm going to give you my own personal story. My father and I had a very estranged relationship growing up. Before the estranged relationship, we were very close. I remember falling asleep on my father as a child, 4 years old, 5 years old, even 6 years old of age. I mean, I always fell asleep on top of my father. That is how we bonded. That's how connected we were. We were very, very close. But at the age of 4, I got a chance to witness my father having an extramarital affair with my sister's mother at the age of 4 years of age. That's something that I feel like as a child, I should not have even witnessed. I should not have even caught wind of, but I did. And so I told my mother what I knew how to best describe as a toddler as my father cheating with my sister's mother. And my dad was very disappointed at me for what I had done. And as a result, my parents divorced. And my father began to have a grudge against me and started to distance himself from my life. And as a woman growing up, I always looked for that daddy figure. So my first husband was approximately 4 years older than me. And I felt comfortable in that relationship dynamic because it felt like a father figure. He actually did take care of me. To be quite honest, he provided for me. We got married when I was young. I was 16 years old when I married him. And it just felt so right. But I just want to get a little bit deeper into what a woman tends to do when she's having these issues. A woman who's always looking for like reassurance in her partner. This is the type of woman that has a father or daddy issue. And this is at the core. Daddy issues are carryover effects from difficult childhood into the transition of adulthood, whereby familiar behaviors are replicated and duplicated in romantic relationships. Now, ask yourself, who has daddy issues? Well, I'm here to tell you it doesn't matter what sex or gender you were assigned at birth or how you identify your relationship with your caregivers. This will always have some type of influence on the way that you approach or deal with your relationships as an adult. How you choose to show up in a relationship. So daddy issues can occur in both women and men. But it may differ in its presentation and the way that it presents itself. If you ever watched a Star Wars flick, and I'm not one who really watches TV, but I'm going to give this as an example just for the sake of conversation here. You can see how the characters like Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia, how my daughter name is Jayla, so it came out that way. It's Princess Leia. Both might have the complex, the father complex, and it just depends on how you look at it. A father complex, aka daddy issues, are real. And it can infiltrate in our relationships with our counterparts. And I'll give you an example on how it varies in both men and women, starting with the women first. Trust issues. Ignoring abusive behavior and treatment, and applying unconditional love in matters of the heart where boundaries and conditions should have been made instead. But out of fear, they're often overlooked. A woman may often turn a blind eye to those issues because of the fact of not wanting to lose the relationship, not wanting to let go, because out of fear, they're going to lose that father figure within that person. Another is not addressing real issues or problems as they arise, because again, out of fear of losing that person. Overly anxious about the relationship, especially when there's problems. Oh my God, he's going to leave me. If I say this, if I do this, then he's going to look at me a certain way, and oh my God, that's just going to be it. That's going to be the nail in the coffin. She will also usually date someone that is much older than her, but that's not always the case, okay? Another thing is that she will always seek validation or approval from her partner before feeling that it's safe to make the decision. Do you think I should do this? Like, always asking for permission. No. Those are old wounds that need to be healed. You're supposed to be self-sufficient, self-reliant. Only relying on your own self. Yes, as a partner, you should do conscious coupling and come together and talk about decisions, especially major ones, before you make them. But even the small decisions of your life, that becomes annoying. Okay? Another one that I felt that was appropriate to discuss is always needing more love and affection even after adequate time and attention has already been spent together. It's like it's not enough. Being satisfied with just a little will get you a lot. She will be codependent and not self-reliant, as I already discussed earlier, as if her partner owes her for the time lost, attention, and affection that her father neglected to show her. So you make your partner become responsible for the role that your father neglected to play. Now let's get to the men. Men, they have some similar traits that mirror the women. And that is trust issues again. Not believing your partner. When they say yes is yes, you think that yes means no. And vice versa. Again, ignoring abusive behavior or treatment and applying unconditional love in matters of the heart where boundaries and conditions should be made. But instead, you overlook the wrong out of fear. Another thing is some men don't think that they're good enough. They'll never amount to be their fullest potential because they felt that if they were good enough, their father would have never left them in the first place. Or always needing to be the one who's in control, showing no flexibility for his female counterpart. No, I got this. No, let me do it my way. Not having any flex at all. Another trait will be commitment issues about marriage, having a phobia about marriage and long-term relationship goals. Long-term commitments is scary for them. Okay? Some people were raised in a single household where the father was not there. He had another family. Or he just wasn't there. Or they just don't know their father. Now, another trait would be those that have a problem with opening up. They are not affectionate. They feel like it should only be in the bedroom, and outside the bedroom, that is effeminate and even demasculinizing to show their woman affection or open display of affection. Yes, any man that has a problem with open display of affection psychologically have daddy issues. Because you should be comfortable within your skin, your own feminine quality as a man, to know that that's normal. It's okay to express love in public. Now, there are variations of the degree of how much you want to show. If there's children around, you don't want to have a makeout session. Do you see what I'm saying? So again, those are just a few examples. Now, don't get me wrong. A woman shouldn't be labeled having daddy issues because she's calling her lover daddy in and out of the bedroom and practices BDSM. No, has nothing to do with her having daddy issues at all. And I'm not being sexist here when I say this, but guys will never admit that they have daddy issues. This is just not what men do. Okay? A man is not going to say, oh, yeah, honey, I'm sorry I did you like that. I have daddy issues. No, it's not going to happen. All right? So, when we talk about daddy issues, it's typically a way to dehumanize a woman's needs or desires. Some people even use the term to slut shame. Okay? It usually is seen as in a bad light. Like if a woman, and most women sometimes have a problem like putting out too early or withholding back too long because out of fear that she doesn't want her partner to judge her, prejudge her based off of if she gives him sex too early or if she withholds sex back for too long. So it puts the woman in a compromising position with her partner when those wounds have not been healed. Okay? However, there's some good in this wound. And that is that the woman's desire to form the deep bond and attachment to her partner, that longing and that yearning and desire is there. And that is the good that we can glean from what is a negative connotation oftentimes. Now, energetically, we can resolve and we can solve these issues with flower essences, which is one that I have right here. And I felt like it was necessary to show you the baby blue eyes. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with flower essences, they work like herbs. This is energetic medicine in a bottle. Okay? And these flowers carry the right frequency that will heal these parts of the traumas from the past and the wounds, which often block our ability to attract symbiotic relationships to us. And what I recommend for both women and men alike, no matter what sex you are, is this flower essence, because baby blue eyes will help with no matter if you're a male or female. Even though it's a masculine flower, the energies that are needed though are there to rebalance your emotions and your auric field, and it helps you to heal the pain from the core of its wounds, which enables you to heal and purge out that pain. We are in the middle of Mercury Retrograde, which is a perfect time for purging and healing, you guys. Things are going to start to come up if they haven't already, and I'm pretty sure they have, because Mercury Retrograde always comes in very strong to heal those things that we've been hiding behind or suppressing. Okay, so the baby blue eyes flower essence addresses qualities of tender sensitivity, the innocence that we once had as a child that was lost because we were disappointed by our father figure. Okay, or maybe there's someone that was earlier on in your childhood that was a actual father or a significant masculine figure that in some way disappointed us or disturbed our equilibrium when it came to the way that we viewed and the way that we looked at our father or how we looked at men in general. This is also known as the distorted masculine, and that's why I wanted to address this on this video. Very often the father was absent or there was a lack of support or genuine presence available to either male or female. And so therefore, in the attempt to cover over these wounds, we have put blocks that have suppressed our vulnerability. And so we have this false hardening, this false wall, this false brick over our hearts, such as an emotional distancing, mistrust. It shows up as cynicism, and even we alienate ourselves spiritually speaking. Okay, we don't open up spiritually because we feel like we can't. Like the father that was on the earth, we equate it to the father that is in the heavens that the Bible speaks about. And so we feel like we can't even have a relationship with our mother, father, God, because we are not even aware that God is neither male or female, but androgynous. Okay, and so we have that nourishing side from the father as well because of the mother, those feminine qualities. So this flower is equally helpful for both, and I recommend it for men and women alike that are struggling or have been struggling to become strong, and that has been disowning and suppressing their pain. I will leave you with this affirmation. My soul gazes into the blue heaven. The Heavenly Father heals the wounds of the earthly Father. I will trust the tender vulnerability of being human. I am held in the love of the Heavenly Father. And so it is, everyone. I hope you enjoyed these intuitive insights. Namaste.